August 15th, and I'm going to pick the remaining aronia berries. Look how dark they are. These are very, very juicy also. The earlier stage, they're very, very dry, but by now they've become more fully shaped and they're very juicy and almost black in color. And these are slightly reddish, but they're still good enough to pick. We are at the golden and red raspberry area, and I'm going to show you the new buds that have formed. We had a good rain several days ago, and all this new growth showed up right after the rain. And there as well. And they're all around the back. We have a nice pollinator having fun, a big bumblebee. And actually this area has attracted numerous bumblebees, which is good because they help the food continue. Hi everybody, I'm at a raised bed where I have peppers growing, and I'm going to pick them for the second time this season. Look at this deep dark purple, almost black. Little bit of green is showing right here. These are some serrano peppers. This is a different variety right here. Here I have a decently sized Anaheim pepper. And here you see 3 good sized Anaheim peppers. I have some bells in here. I'm going to take this one in. These are nice and firm. They're all well formed and ripe for picking. Here's another. The others are a bit small, and I'm going to let them grow a little longer. And then I have a ton of buds, brand new, that are forming. You can see little flowers here. Little buds all over the place. And here for the purple one, you can see the little baby peppers on the plant, and also the flowers where the new ones are growing. And you even see that the leaves are green and purple combined. It's a very attractive plant. Hey everybody, I'm going to harvest these 2 baby pumpkins. As you see, the vines have maximized and there really isn't any growing potential left. There's one. He's a pretty cute little fellow. And two. Same goes for this one. I'll use these in my pumpkin spice muffins. We have another one over there which has some green to the stem, and I'll probably let that one go for another few days before I pick it. Hey everybody, I'm going to harvest some rhubarb red Swiss chard. This is a wonderful vegetable, excellent for vision, for blood, for bones, and the effect on children who are still growing is that it strengthens their bones and helps them reach a good height. This is one of the top recommended vegetables for promoting growth in children. Rhubarb red Swiss chard. Look at that gorgeous pinkish red stem and the veins and nice rich green leaves. You're going to get a lot of mileage out of this. Now this over here is called Ford Hook Giant Swiss chard, and it's characterized by the white stems and veins. Very good for bones, for growth. Feed these to your growing youngsters. We're just going to bring a small sample in of the Swiss chard and each item today. And get some more. This one has a lot more curve and curl to the leaf. It's a beautiful Ford Hook Giant Swiss chard. Little ant on there. As you see here, we have some turnips growing, and they're doing well because the temperatures have dropped a little bit more into the 60s and 70s, and we've got a little bit of moisture. There's a lot of humidity, and we're supposed to get some more rain today. So they like the cool. Leafy greens typically like the cool. Okay folks, this is a leafy green vegetable which has a wonderful sweet flavor, and it's rich in all the vitamins and minerals, calcium, iron, vitamin A, vitamin C, and it is called, as I said, tatsoi. Its origins are from China, and this is an heirloom organic variety, very ancient. I've been growing it a long time. Very delicious, one of the most nutrient-dense foods. I'd say it's similar in quality to moringa, Moringa oleifera. I will only get a few leaves at a time. These are rather petite plants, so I'm not going to be too aggressive in the cutting. All right, folks, you probably remember now this wonderful vegetable called purslane. I'm going to bring some more in today, fresh in a salad. Very delicious. Omega-3 fats. This is a powerhouse for that. I'm also going to cut some wasabi arugula. This is growing so well on our property that we're finding it distributed all over the yard, which is fantastic news for us. Here you see wasabi arugula. Excellent flavor, excellent nutrient content. Arugula is one of the best vegetables a person can consume. Okay folks, here I have a golden beet. And they, just like anything else, can reach a variety of sizes. Last year I had from very tiny to as big as softballs, and this is about a mid-size. And yes, the greens are also edible. This one I'll cut off because it has a little bit of rust color on it. But these are high in nutrition, and as you know, these are related to Swiss chard. Here's another golden beet, isn't he cute? Reddish color, kind of orangey, and very, very delicious. Nice, gentle flavor. This one I'll let grow maybe a little bit longer. And we have some others. We have a large patch, and we have a brand new patch that was just planted, and that's coming up well. Let's see how these look. I'm gonna get this guy. Yep, that's a nice one. They're more petite this year than I'm used to, but then again, we did have a very lengthy drought. Okay. Golden beets. Wonderful leaves. Use everything root to tip. Beets are famous for cleansing the liver as well. These are the darker beets, red color. And I'm going to try to get to them without smashing the other vegetables. I have them so tightly packed. Let's see what we have here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one since there are many in a cluster. It's a tiny red beet, but it's a red beet nevertheless. When they get close together, they kind of prohibit each other from getting the most of the nutrition from the soil. So it's better to pull some that have shown some growth, and then it makes room for the others that haven't peeked through the surface too much, gives them more nutrition to absorb. I'm going to pull this tiny one because there's a group of 3 really close to each other, almost on top of each other, and I want to give them room. I'm going to pull him and his neighbor. Okay, these are still edible. There's still plenty to get from this plant because we eat them root to tip. Okay, everybody, I'm at the dark purple beans. I'm going to cut those now. And it's getting toward the end of its life. As you can see, the plant is starting to dry up a bit, but it has a few more beans on it. Okay, some of the dark purple. Here we have some of the green beans, and they are just your standard green color. We will harvest until the plant doesn't produce anymore. Then after that, we turn all the dried plants into compost. We grind it all up, put it in our compost bin, lay it on the ground, till it in, and that's what we do so we don't waste anything. This is a nice one too. Even with a small amount of space, folks, even if you don't have that much room, put something in the ground or in containers if you don't have productive soil. This one I'm going to leave to utilize the seeds that are forming. As you see how lumpy it is, those are very, very hard. So I'm going to let it get harder, and then we'll harvest those for seeds. Do you see any of the goldens? So here's one of the goldens I was looking for. It's called Bird of Roquefort, kind of a yellowish color. And look at the lovely flowers. Isn't that pretty? We have more, so that tells us we've got more to come. And these bean plants are getting toward the end of their lives. So we've harvested plenty throughout the season, and now we're just getting toward the last of the supply. We have a few that we're leaving on each plant so that it can produce seeds for us. And here's a nice one that we're letting go to seed. These are firm inside here, and we're going to let them mature even more and then take them in and dry the seeds. This one, we're going to let go a little longer. Okay, we're going to harvest some okra now. Here we go. This one's a little bit young. I'm going to wait on that, but I am going to take a leaf or two. Probably take this one. There's good substance there. I harvested tender ones and the ones that are a little bit more mature but not too stiff. These are very good in bamia, which is a lamb stew we love at our house. You see this one here? This one's going to be allowed to stay on a little longer. It's getting very stiff so that the seeds are forming. And then we'll use those seeds in the future for planting and for selling. It takes some of the leaves though. These are edible, as are the flowers. Look how pretty okra flowers are. They're a really gorgeous flower. That's from the green Clemson. And then we have other varieties. The red color over here. And you're going to see the flower in just a moment. Here's another big okra pod. It's not too stiff yet, so we can still eat it. It has tenderness to it. Some of them can get really large. Last year I had 8 to 12-inch okra pods that were still tender, and they were very delicious. They hadn't matured hard enough to develop seeds for planting. So we enjoyed them when they got to be a really good size. Okra likes heat, it likes sun and humidity. It typically does really well in the deep south, up to 14 feet. Where we live, we get them to from 7 to 8 feet in height. So I'm snipping some leaves right now from the okra plants because those will go in our lamb stew, as will the pods and the flowers. Here's another okra pod. I'm going to get this one. And some of its leaves. This is one that we're letting go to seed. So it's really large right now and it's getting pretty stiff. Look at this gorgeous okra flower. Isn't that lovely? And that is also edible. Flowers, leaves, and pods. I'm going to harvest some leaves from here. The pods need to grow a bit more on this plant. See the red stems, a little bit of green, and some red and pale green on the veins. Here are the backs. Lighter green in the back, sort of a light grayish hue, grayish green. Okra is one of our favorite fruits. It's so versatile, and we use it in many dishes. Okay, we're going to harvest some more okra. Look at that. That's a really good pod. It's firm but not stiff, so it'll still be part of a tasty meal. The leaves have such interesting shapes. The really young ones have a lot of thin, more spiky looking leaves, and when they get mature, they sort of round out a bit. You can see that here especially. I'm going to cut some more of the leaves. Look at that flower. Isn't that beautiful? Look on the inside, deep inside. It's very, very red, like a burgundy color. Isn't that gorgeous? And here's another good juicy pod right here. And some of the leaves from that plant. I'll take some of the tender ones as well, the younger leaves. And here's a cluster of many okra pods that are going to grow. Look right here. I can see about 9 there, and here's another and another. Beautiful. It's a wonderful fruit. And here we have it on the same plant over here. Large cluster of them forming. Here's another okra pod that I harvested. Remember, depending where you live, these can reach magnificent heights, which means more leaves, more flowers, more pods. I'm going to cut this young one. And you can see a cluster right here of tons of okra pods forming. Look at all those. I'm going to take a leaf from here. And the other pods and the other plants I'm going to let go for a while because they are a little bit too small to harvest. Let them mature a bit, and then we're going to leave some on each plant to let them grow for seed harvesting. Right now I'm going to cut a few kohlrabi leaves. These are purple kohlrabi. I'm going to cut some of the outer leaves because I want this plant to produce for quite a while longer. Next, I'll cut some of the Russian red kale. This is the one with the really, I would say, very unique leaves. See how this grows from the leaf surface. Isn't that fascinating? Never seen that on any other plant. Let's see if this one has that. Yes, indeed. Right here, growing straight out the middle of the leaf. Even here. This is Russian red kale. Really rich in phytonutrients, vitamins, minerals, everything good for you. Next, we're going to cut a bit of 1,000-head kale. Remember, this is the one which the leaves can reach 3 feet. Now, last year, almost all of it reached 3 feet. But as the weather gets cooler, I think we're going to see that more. Because I remember harvesting these in October and November, and they were enormous leaves. They were 3 feet as a minimum, We had some that exceeded that by a bit. So here we have 1,000 head kale. Now we're going to harvest a bit of the Nero di Toscana cabbage. This has its origins in Italy, and the 1,000 head kale comes from England. I think it's fun also when I teach my children geography to make note of the plants that we grow that come from different parts of the world, because it's fascinating to see how they grow in different climates and different types of soil. Just makes for a richer learning experience. So here we have Nero di Toscana cabbage, also known as dinosaur kale. Remember a few weeks ago I was talking about the baby cucumber? This one is called alpha beet. It's from Israel, and it has matured. It's pretty firm. We're growing this one for its seeds. So we have some others that are going to form. You see all the flowers? That's where new cucumbers will be growing from those points. This is called bitter melon, also known as bitter gourd, and its origins are from India. This is excellent for people who struggle with diabetes. It's wonderful for stabilizing blood sugar. And as its name indicates, it does have a bitter taste. It's not really a pleasant tasting fruit, but it's consumed for its health benefits. I'm going to let it mature a little bit more before I harvest it. This is some more tatsoi. If you remember, I harvested some from the baby plants earlier. I'm going to take some from here also. Children really do like the taste of this raw. And as I said, it's excellent in vitamins and minerals, very high in calcium and iron, vitamin C, selenium, magnesium, potassium, zinc, manganese. Everything wonderful for children's growth and immune systems. Great for all the health. That includes bones and organs. Take a few off there. And then here we have some more wasabi arugula. I'm going to grab some more of that. Can't have too much arugula in my house. It's one of the most favorite vegetables we consume. For people who are struggling with their health, especially with autoimmune illnesses, you want to feed them a lot of raw arugula, and I'd recommend the tatsoi as well. The nutrient density is incredible. It's very good at repairing blood, cleaning the cells, great for the nervous system. It does a lot for the myelin in the brain. Hello, I'm going to get some lettuce. It's kind of late in the season. The flavor might be a little bit bitter now, but there's still plenty of nutrition to be obtained. So we're going to get some romaine first. And these still have the light, fresh color. They're not the color that they typically get when they're bitter, so we may still have the enjoyable flavor. We haven't harvested them for a couple of weeks, so we're going to have some today in our salad. So this is some romaine. Add this to our collection. And then over here, we're going to get some butter crunch. The weed growth this year has been a bit too much, so we have to work around those and other vegetables that we have packed side by side by side. We didn't leave a lot of room on purpose. We just try to maximize our growing space as much as possible. So here's some butter crunch lettuce. Okay everybody, I have another variety of lettuce that's variegated in color. So you see red and green. Now at this time of the season, the reddish is a little darker, and it still has its nutrition, and that's okay if it tastes a little bit bitter. That's all right, because we still are going to get vitamins and minerals. Here you can see a younger leaf and how it has more of a spring green color to it, and the reddish does look a little bit reddish. And I want to show you the seeds right here. So up here you see the flowers and where the seeds are produced. So these we will harvest and collect when they're all dry. We put half for us and a half for sale. Okay everybody, we're getting the items that we picked today washed with the shower setting and the hose. And these are some items that one of my sons picked a few days ago. So here we have the Russian red kale, the Nero di Toscana cabbage, 1,000-head kale, some more 1,000-head kale, some of the spearmint, no, I think this one is peppermint. And then we have some rhubarb, we have Nero di Toscana cabbage again, a pear, and we have other pears and apples still to mature, and then we have some carrots. This one is a fun one because the outside is purple and the inside is a deep orange color. And this one is yellow. We had triple the amount a few days ago, but the carrot lovers in the house enjoyed themselves. So one more item I want to talk about, and this relates to preparation. Make sure you have enough food for the family size. Minimum of time to save for would be 6 months. I recommend getting enough for a year to 2 years. And also you want to have as much as possible in a safe place items for protecting your household. So you all can interpret that how you think it's best for your family's needs, but I highly support and recommend being able to protect what you have and those you have. We are in desperate times and there has been a lot of theft in people's homes and in their gardens. So you want to protect what's yours and what you've worked hard for. Have a wonderful day. God bless you all.